So I spared some time to do this video on the water change, 50 gallons. And that's what it looks like. A little cloudy, but it clears up pretty fast. First thing I do is just go, well, it's all dug and everything. It's not leveled out like it is you see here. I always level out the substrates and stir a little bit to release any gases that could be in the substrate, but gravel vac first and then I'll level it out. Now I have the two maxi jets. The water's, I'd say, about 5 gallon low, but it's alright. I wanted it to be agitation to make the water crisp and nice and clear. There's the outtake of an aquarium, and then the aqua clear 110 outtake. It's got some good flow to it. I've got carbon of aqua clear 110 and coarse and fine poly, it's a material to collect and polish the water, debris and waste, and polish the water. I have them in both filters, but seems to be working a lot better. So when I do water changes, I keep the air stones and the sponge filters running. It helps. I just unplug all the pumps and keep the lights on and the filters turn off. But this time tomorrow, this water will be crystal clear. Well, I was saying with nutrients over there, we'll look at the bottom of the tank and I'll show you a little more, but I've cleaned a lot of it. We'll go look at it. So this is where in the past 6 months I've gotten that clean. Still got some particulates on the other side. I try to work on that side. You see that big clear spot, but that's probably a lot of aragonite, so lots of gases in there. I try to go shallow, so not so deep when I first start to get any solids up out of the substrate, and then I'll go deep and try to get this stuff that you see here. But very established aquarium. But that's the most aragonite in the tank. It's on this side. Definitely, it helps to remove that. So this is 2 maxi jets. Water conditioner and is safe, prime, and easy balance, and then aquarium salt made by API. In fact, not just the little fish, but more of the big fish in the fish tank, you can see them enjoying fresher water, and then particularly than zebra cichlid. But definitely putting the water in, they go straight in where you're dumping the bucket into the tank, and they love to swim in it. But like I always say, I'd rather have that dirty water out than taking more water out in a higher percentage than doing a small percentage multiple times. Doing that one big one knocks out that nitrate. This nitrate's about, well, I just tested it earlier, it was about 35, 30. So it wasn't too high, but it was in the safe zone. But always when I do the water changes, the fish are vibrant, swimming around, and full of life. What's up, guys? You have Chris here. Just did a water change, 40 gallons. 10-gallon top off, so 30-gallon water change, and then the extra 10 gallons or fresh water with no salt. So they're already about to go to bed. I think I'm gonna maybe try something. Maybe not feed for 3 days, maybe. See how it goes after a water change and let the nutrients just get. Now I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but we'll see. I like to feed my fish, as you see on the videos. These orange red devils, they're eating sinking pellet, but they're beginning to eat what all the other fish eat, is floating pellet, so they're liking that. So the spectrum, when new fish eat the spectrum, they kind of make a mess. But then they get used to the pellet, and then they ingest it in. So I have this air stone in here. Call it the wrecking ball because it's very dangerous. But it does a good job of aerating the water. Got 2 of those in 2 tanks. So for the most nutrients on the tank, it was basically on the other side. There's a little bit over here on the edges, in the back, but majority of the nasty waste was over by the kid sun. But I positioned the maxi jets at the surface. Can't do it too much because there's only a half a lid on here, so it would create a mess. But this is semi-agitation, plus it has the aeration from the sponge filters and that air stone back there. So I tried something with the parrotfish. Tried putting it with the albino flowerhorn, didn't work out. Put it in another tank. Almost got a head chopped off, seriously, with the queen going after her. So she's back in here. I think she learned her lesson. She was nooking at the red devils, but I think she learned her lesson. But definitely helps with the water quality of a water change. So I think that's a female red devil. The other 3 are males. Oh yeah, they're starting to eat seaweed salad too. In this tank, I just break it up into small bite-sized pieces, then I just throw it in. And that seems to be getting everybody fed with the seaweed. These red devils will get big fast. They'll get big, trust me. As soon as they start eating, they'll go through a growth spurt. They get big fast. But they'll be beautiful when they grow up, though, for sure. So like I said, the pellets, they're coming straight up to the top with the float. So we're learning. So what you can see here is a coarse, then fine. So the water comes through it, collects the bigger particles, and then it collects the smaller particles as it goes through. It helps with efficiency. But I had polyfiber here before, and I wasn't getting a full clean water type of deal. So I took all basically marine fur out, just right here. No, just take them out. Anyways, they're sunk deep, so there's lots of more surface area to collect particles. It definitely helps. It's starting to change colors there. color. I filled up a whole Emperor 400 with marine pure that I took from all the tanks to fit these pads, cut the size. So it was about 4 marine pure balls, sometimes 5. Each filter was filled up 1 Emperor 400. There was more in the aqua clear because the carbon had to fit. We'll take a look at that now. Well, it's better to cut your pad, cut the size, and make sure it's bigger than smaller. So it does basically traps evenly throughout the whole filter. So water comes through here. This is the pump. Comes through here, filters through, and the carbon will last because it won't get dirty, because this is here, because this is mechanical, this is chemical carbon, and this is biological. This is what grows the bacteria. You should never clean it with tap water. Had this marine pure for 3 years, all added up. Never cleaned with tap water once, only when purchased to clean it. But I use dechlorinator in my tap, just so I don't have to worry. But definitely clean your marine pure before you put it in, so you don't get the fine particulates. But you have to handle these with a little bit of care, because they will chip here, but they're very high quality for growing bacteria for surface area. The other filter, last one. You can see here that this marine pure ball looks smaller than, say, this one, because this one marine pure ball, well, I'd say a gallon, has 3 years old, so it's never been cleaned in tank water or chlorine water, chlorine. So it's full of bacteria, and they're all scattered throughout every filter that way, and added over the 3-year mark. The logo on this media, it says "Making Fish Smile," and it definitely helps to keep it mechanically filtered too. So when I do water changes, I like to keep some agitation after, just to kind of give oxygen and let any gases escape out of the tank through agitation. But in particularly this tank, the top off water goes fast, so a lot of moisture comes out because there's 2 fans in here, and it just makes it evaporate. And there's heavy aeration too. But what's up, guys? So we're at the 55 gallon. Water change about an hour or 2 ago. Leveled out the substrate. $40 gallons. They're ready for bed. Cleaned all the sponges and the tank water. Pretty dirty. Looks better now. A lot of aeration in there. 2 air stones and 2 sponge filters. So I have my maxi jets, circulation and agitation. All could color look. Going good. I think they waste a lot, So go to the bathroom a lot, they eat a lot. But padding's starting to change colors. And it's got good flow to it. Definitely like the padding change. So it's good news. The Ked sun blowing across the tank, keeping it circulated. Helps clear the water too. Fish love the water change. Especially the large fish like queens. Queens like fresh water for a definite fact. But the lighting on here is a 48-inch Coral Life full spectrum or daylight bulb, so keeps it lit up pretty well. I keep my air pumps on top of the tank, on top of the lid. You don't have to have check valves. So this is what two maxi jets look like at the surface. Good agitation. Big fan of it. And aeration. Guys at the 55 albino flower horn. So he just had a water change about 3 hours ago. He's ready for bed. He's tired, but made some time to do this update after the water change. Usually I don't make it there, but here you go. Clean the sponge filters. There's 3 in here. It's got this wrecking ball here, creating some aeration. Here is an Aqua Clear 110 half sponge, and then this is a full sponge. I just put it in here to house some extra bacteria. So a 40-gallon water change. It's a lot of water, but substrate very old. This was a queen hybrid, large queen. It was hers, so a very old, thick substrate. It's got fine black sand and aragonite, crushed coral, coralline coral. What's the other one? Carib sea coral, Florida crushed coral, geometric rings, colored pebbles, aragonite if I didn't say it, but a lot of buffering capacity. The fish tanks is a Stress Guard by Seachem, and it's blue. I think if I would have had it for the queen and dosed high amounts, I could have cured her ammonia burn, but it reduces stress, and it has a protein that goes to their skin. It's very healthy for them. But I put just a cap in each fish tank, and that seems to add an increase in slime coat. And on top of feeding, it helps with their slime coat. But sun is rated at 550 gallons an hour, and I think it does a good job of keeping the water circulated. Two maxi jets, like all tanks basically, creating agitation. And what I've done here with the Emperor 400, I'll get the light on. Emperor 400, I don't like this filter, but what I've done is just down below, clogged where these tubes come out, taking the tubes off and clogged them so no water could pass through them. So I have more flow here. This is basically a mechanical filtration, or mechanical filter. It does good with padding. If I just had these balls in here, the water level wouldn't rise. And it'd be a dead slow. In multiple tanks of mine, in the past, I've had ammonia spikes because it wasn't getting enough flow. So, cutting that off, the tubes that come to the hole, I'm taking that off, don't need them. No bio wheel, don't need that. You see it's caught some algae there. But as this pad gets dirtier and dirtier, it'll actually flow more efficient. But I'm pretty impressed with how the flow is coming out of the outputs. But what was I gonna say? This is the Emperor 400 I was talking about that is holding my marine pure. So this is my spare filter for the house. I have an aquarium filter, but that's just a spare, but this is my spare. So I put my spare marine pure, instead of having them dispersed in one side of the tank and digging them out and grinding them by holding them and grinding them and chipping them, so they're more efficient in a filter. All I have to do is just take the filter off, and that's it, and then work on the tank. But I think it's got good flow. I think it does. I'm impressed. Life is 6500K and a 10,000K bulb. It's 32 inches. Had this fixture a long time. Just had to replace the bulbs, and all you have to make sure with your fixtures is you have some type of protection of splashing, maybe, because if water gets inside, it will actually pop the bulb. I would think. It's happened to me, but when I had the mangroves. But and then this here is a what is it called? What is it? A 75 or 90 gallon lid that's half. What I have here is the same piece that goes to the lid, but just extended. It leaves a little gap there. That's okay, but it covers. It does a real good job of. And it's a thicker glass than rather, this is a marine land lid, a 75, so it's a lot thinner. This is an aquarium lid here, that's a manufacturer, but definitely a lot thicker and stays cleaner, and it keeps water from coming out. Clear, the mechanical filtration I think is doing a very good job of what it's supposed to be doing. It's polishing the water just as I wanted to. So every aquarium has one AquaClear 110 with a carbon for an AquaClear 110. I went with this carbon because when you rinse it under the tap, it's not as dirty. Like bulk carbon, you could rinse it, it'd be very dirty over and over again. So this is better quality, I would think, because it's easier to clean, and you just put it in and you don't have to mesh with mesh bags, and definitely does its job of keeping organics down. Or yep. On 5575, It's got good consistent flow. It's got good here. And very old filter. And just holding some marine pure and doing some mechanical filtration. It's got good flow in a way. I think it's 150 gallons per hour impeller magnet. All my aquariums, basically, besides the light and the air pumps, are all run by magnetic motors. So I think the power is not as high compared to a heater or so, or other. I'm gonna say goodnight to Freddy. Say goodnight, guys. Good night, Freddy. He's tired. He's been up for 3 hours since the water change. And I have to wake that tank up with this one so Freddy doesn't spook around when I'm running past the tank working on it, the other tank. So he's up. When I do water changes, probably the longest out of everybody. But he's going to bed. And hope you enjoy.